Bernard King was a machine. He was fun to watch.
What a shot by Bernard King.
He was just a prolific scorer.
Bernard King once again.
Once he got the ball, either you were going to foul him or he was going to score or do both.
Again for King, yes, and it counts.
He had great speed.
Bernard King on the run.
He has all kinds of explosive moves.
Super move by King.
He can go 1-on-3, and he'd be going 100 miles an hour straight forward. Then he can go laterally and split the defense and be able to finish.
Bernard stole it. Bernard to the basket. What a play. And
At every level, people doubted him. They said what he did in high school at Fort Hamilton, he couldn't do at college in the SEC playing for Tennessee. They say that game doesn't translate to the NBA. He did the same thing in the NBA.
when Bernard King gets his hands on the ball, he is unstoppable.
He started with the Nets, went to Golden State in Utah, and the Knicks traded for Bernard.
I was already in love with Bernard King because everybody in New York loved BK.
I grew up playing on the playgrounds in Brooklyn, and every kid on the street that plays basketball wants to play for the New York Knicks. It was a dream for me to play in front of my parents, my friends every night. It was a magic carpet ride.
What a break. That's vintage Bernard King.
He just had a presence about him, an aura. He has great work ethic, extremely serious, very, very competitive, and takes a lot of pride in how he plays and how his team plays.
Anyone that's watched Bernard King play, they've known that I've played because of pride, and I've worked hard to get to the level that I've been at.
A four-time All-Star, Bernard King averaged over 22 points a game in his 14-year career. His 26.5 points per game as a New York Knick ranks him second all-time in franchise history.
He had a switch. He could turn it on and off. In the locker room, he was mellow. When it came to the game, he had his game face on. He was just intense.
Nothing is going to stop him. He's a man possessed, and he is doing it all.
He was really unstoppable.
Bernard King becomes the all-time single-game scorer in Knicks history with 60.
He could do whatever he wanted.
In 1984, the Brooklyn native accomplished a feat no player had since Wilt Chamberlain, 20 years earlier.
5 seconds. Here's Bernard looking for 50. He's got it.
And he puts together these tremendous scoring games for the Knicks.
Bernard looking for 50, and he's got it. Back-to-back 50-point games for Bernard King.
For a guy to put back-to-back 50-point games in that era, where defense is played much differently than it is now, that tells you something about his skill level and the type of driven player he was at the offensive end.
Bernard King is just punishing everybody in his way.
And he's in his prime. He's about 27 or 28.
And he was leading the league in scoring at that time. He was averaging close to 32, 33 points a game.
Then the career is drastically changed because he blows out a knee.
And I remember Reggie Theus going down for a fast break.
And back the other way is Reggie Theus.
And Bernard was chasing him down. And as he gathered to go up and try to block the shot, you could just see his body contort when he was up in the air. And as soon as he was up in the air, he heard a major snap, and he just laid on the floor, and it was really devastating.
Look out. King hurt himself.
He was our main scorer and our top guy, and just to see him in pain, it's a terrible feeling.
And you figure the career's over, because nobody's coming back at that time from a catastrophic knee injury like Bernard King suffered.
And he put in relentless work, and his rehab was unbelievable. He was out for over a year and a half, and he came back. He played the last 6 games of a season.
Here's the captain, Bernard King.
He became a free agent, and he signed a contract with the Washington Bullets. Then the first game back to the Garden, he scores 40.
Bernard King, again. I think Bernard came to play.
And this is really where he makes his mark outside of New York. 3 or 4 years after coming back from the knee injury that basically wipes out 2 years, he's an all-star level performer again for Washington, averaging again close to 28, 29 points a game.
In his 4th All-Star game, forward Bernard King.
He made it work, and it was because of his desire, his competitive nature, his pride, and really his basketball IQ, because he figured out how he could be successful without having the same skill level as he had previously.
It's good to see him run the floor like that. That's what he did so well before the knee injury.
when you think about his career and what might have happened if he didn't blow out his knee that night in Kansas City, he might have been an all-time lock for the top 50.
Bernard King over Vandeweghe.
And then you also have to credit him for showing the wherewithal and the perseverance to come back.
A tremendous performance by Bernard King. His first 50-point game since undergoing major knee surgery.
Will is more important than skill. And Bernard had great skill, but he had an iron will. And no one was as fierce a competitor. And no one in the NBA had the heart that he had and played with the iron will that he played with.